Good afternoon. This is Clark Neighbors with BIS Commodities in Cedar Rapids, Iowa, with the closing commentary for the week ending July 29th, 2019. Fairly quiet trade this week as far as the grains are concerned, and we trended lower as the week wore on, mainly due to weather and lack of fresh news. Even though there was some positive news midweek, the market failed to capture any momentum. So for the week, corn was down 10 cents, beans down approximately 20, wheat down a dime. Cattle market on the protein side up $1.50, hogs up 2.50. Crude oil was up $1. S&P made new contract highs this week. If you go back 2 weeks ago today, on the 12th of July, going home, we had a spike in the grain markets that Friday based on a forecast for the following week showing some hot temperatures with lack of moisture, and obviously in hindsight that didn't occur to that degree, so we've lost 25 cents in corn since that high on the 12th, about 30 plus on both the beans and the wheat. Much talk in the grain trade, or the corn trade more specifically, on some technical levels to watch. It's talked about in nausea about 420 on D's corn being support. There's a small gap there. When we popped open there around Memorial Day, that gap has not been filled yet. It's obviously within striking distance with the last couple days. We sent out a chart earlier this week basically showing December corn, and since Memorial Day, we've had 5 closes below 430, of which 2 of those happened this week on Thursday and today. Since Memorial Day, we've had 13 closes above 448, and only 1 of those in the month of July. So market month of July has been fairly range bound in about a 15 to 20 cent trading range, give or take. So our feeling is that looks to be the case unless something changes short term as you approach the August 12th crop report, supply demand update. That is 2 weeks from Monday, this upcoming Monday. So fair amount of time between now and then. And at that time, obviously, we get a resurveyed planted acreage number. In reality, what's important is the harvested acreage number, and on the 12th of August, that is going to be really hard to determine, but we'll at least have a basing point off this new updated planting number. And then as you go forward, obviously yields the talk. So the supply still has a lot of story to tell, long ways to go. But as far as the other side of the coin, on any kind of supply rally that may occur going forward, demand is still going to be headwinds in this market. Keep in mind, export sales this past week were 5 million bushels for corn. We need to be doing minimum 15 to 20 to reach USDA projections this year. And corn and bean exports year to date are about 17% below last year. The beans, you can blame that on obviously the Chinese tariff situation, but I think a vast majority of both the beans and the corn are due to the fact that massive crop in Argentina, Brazil this year helped offset any issues as far as trade, etc., with the U.S. crop. On that regard, and the poor export sales this week, the September-December corn spread widened nearly 3 cents here late this week, showing the signs of some softening basis depending on the market. Ethanol margins continue to be very poor. We continue to talk about how some plants are slowing down, maybe even looking at shutdowns going forward. That is going to be a story to watch as we get into the first quarter or the first 2 quarters of the crop year. So, long story short, the supply still has a lot of stories to tell, but the demand continues to be headwinds. We did get the commitment of traders report this afternoon. It does show the funds liquidating almost 34,000 contracts of corn in the past week. They're still net long about 153,000, but that's a fair amount off the recent high in the length that we saw by the funds here a couple of weeks ago. Slight length in the wheat of 11,000 contracts, and the funds are still short about 38 or 39,000 contracts of soybeans. Going forward this week, or the next 2 weeks, obviously weather can be a key factor. We do have trade talks with China early next week in Shanghai with the trade delegation. I noticed this afternoon President Trump is talking about some new tariffs with the Europeans and how he would not be surprised that China holds off on any trade agreement till the U.S. election next year. And then the last thing is just buying time until the August crop report. So if you have any questions on any of these markets or anything else that would you like to discuss with us at BIS Commodities, feel free to call us 1-800-373-2525 or catch us on the web at www.biscommodities.com. With that, have a great weekend.